All right. Well, I just have to start right off the bat with this. I was just on the phone with the general manager of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the great, the one, the only, Jason Licht. And guess what he told me about my next guest? He said, this guy was the smartest NFL agent out there. It's the one, the only, Ben Dogra, joining us back here in the den, Sound Off Sports. Ben, I mean, when Jason Licht, a guy who has won a Super Bowl, did all that great work with Brady and Gronk down in Tampa. Now he's, revitalized all these careers from Baker Mayfield, Liam Cohen, Dave Canales. All these guys started there. And now the GM for the Raiders, John Spytek, a guy who started as a scout with Tampa. I mean, it's amazing to just hear a GM say, you are the smartest agent out there. What does that mean to you when you hear that? Does it make you feel like, wow, I should get back in the biz?
Well, no, I feel like I got him $50 as my publicist. No, to be honest, it's humbling. I think he's a little over the top, to be honest.
No.
Well, a little bit. He's a very nice guy. He's very competitive. We've had our share of battles, but at the end of the day, we respect each other. And I respect him because he's a good man. He's a hard worker, and he never passes the buck. And he's one of those selfless guys. He wants everyone to be successful. He doesn't want to lose Liam Cohen. He doesn't want to lose Canales. But he's willing to do so because he was in that position once as assistant. You know what I mean?
It's about development, and he was, in New England with Brady. But let's shift to this, because I did get to ask Jason Licht very quickly before we came in here for the interview. I asked him, Ben, I said, hey, you know what? What do you think about the Tyler Linderbaum signing? Because Spytek is really cooking right now in free agency. And I said, is it going to really be a linchpin? Is this going to set up everything for the Raiders? And he said, you're 100% right. It's a huge move. But I want to get your take on this, Ben. We've seen the Raiders in day one, in legal tampering period, 8 moves they made in one day, $283 million spent in one day, 8 players signed. What's your reaction initially to John Spytek and free agency and what the Raiders are doing?
I think it's an amazing accomplishment. I think it's a true commitment from all the way at the top, from Mark Davis to Tom Brady, to John Spytek, to Tom Delaney, to the head coach. I think they're showing this city we're willing to spend our money. We want to win. We know we're in a tough division. It is a tough division, right?
Yeah.
You got Patrick Mahomes. They might be the 3rd best team. The Raiders have the first pick, which means they were the worst team. So think about this. They have $95 million of salary cap space, and they have spent all this money. Are they not committed to winning, sir?
They're definitely committed to winning. Did you think that Tyler Linderbaum, as being a former agent, a guy who was negotiating these deals, when people say they overpaid for Linderbaum, this is a guy, 3 years, 81 mil. He's making, 20 mil signing bonus, 10 this year. I believe it's 30 next year. How does that happen? How does a team overpay? Is there a tax when you're leaving maybe a Ravens franchise that's a little bit more established and you're going to a team that's rebuilding? Do you pay more for players when you're rebuilding?
Well, I think it depends on the agent and the player. Okay, so in general, I want you to think about this. You have to know your audience. Linderbaum came from Iowa.
Right.
He's like a former wrestler. He's a first-round pick.
He beat Tristan Wirfs in wrestling in high school. And you got to realize Iowa's like an O-line factory. That's where it's like if you want your, brain surgeon from Harvard, you want your O-lineman from Iowa.
That's right. And so think about this. This guy went to Iowa City. He's on the Baltimore Ravens. He's a first-round pick. Do they want to lose a center that they drafted in the first round that's made 3 Pro Bowls? Absolutely not. So you have to pay a premium to get him out because he doesn't care. He went to Iowa. He didn't go to the University of Miami at Florida at Coral Gables. So he's a meat and potatoes guy. He's a wrestler. He's got Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So you do have to overpay him. But let me give you perspective. Twofold. One, did they really overpay him? See,
I don't think they overpaid. But the market is reset. He's making, $9 million more than the next highest paid center in Creed Humphrey, I believe.
I disagree. I think he's making $3 million more than a guard. See, he's an interior lineman. See, the team's argument is, hey, we don't want to pay you $9 million over. He's a center. He's not a center. He's an interior offensive lineman. He's not a tackle. That's a guard or center, sir. So the highest paid guard is Tyler Smith on the Cowboys. He's $24 million.
Right.
So you give him 12% more. You're not giving him 33% more. It's how you look at things. Now, let me give you a comparison point. There's a client of mine. one of my first clients ever, John Runyon
Yeah.
Jr.
Played for the Eagles.
But prior to that, he was a 4th-round pick of the Tennessee Titans. They went to the Super Bowl. The Eagles signed him in 2000, made him the highest-paid right tackle in NFL history. They overpaid for him. Why? They were building their new stadium. They had their, what was it called? It was, trying to forget, NovaCare.
Oh,
the facility.
Their facility, NovaCare.
So nobody
facility.
wanted to play in Philadelphia. Nobody. They were a bunch of losers. So here's what they did. The year before, they went after Adam Timmerman for the Packers. They thought they had him. Timmerman changed his mind at the last minute and says, I don't want to go to a losing franchise, so I want to stay in Green Bay. They lost out on him. You have to overpay a guy from a Super Bowl or winning team.
A culture that's
Yes.
established like that. And Baltimore's established. They're playing meaningful games
100%.
in the postseason. So they had to overpay a little bit to get him here. But I think, from the zone blocking scheme that they're trying to run under Kubiak, coming from the Shanahan tree, the fact that you have the first overall pick, a new face of the franchise in Fernando Mendoza, you got to protect this guy. So protecting him, unlocking the rushing game after you draft Ashton Genty, it's a genius move. Now, tell me, give us a little insight onto just how the free agency works. Give me an example of some stories. Like, as an agent, are you really pushing the needle when it comes to what's happening with GMs, or are GMs more so reaching out to you, or are you reaching out to GMs more so? How does it work?
Well, in my case, I'm reaching out to them more, but it's both. You see, you have to remember this. If you have a player, and if there's at least 2 GMs that want the player, and they're contacting you early, right? So we're talking about the legal tampering period, but there's also a legal tampering period, right? You're meeting somebody for lunch at the combine, right? We're talking about the real business.
Right.
There's deals being made. So you figure out the level of interest. So you need at least 2 to party, but sometimes you only need 1. You can't overprice the guy.
So a deal like that's going down yesterday with Linderbaum, when did his agent and Spytek start dancing together?
My guess is it happened, maybe the first interaction casually, legally, is at the combine to say, hey, look,
Really?
we might be interested in your client. I couldn't tell you. I don't know for sure.
But that's what you would guess.
That's my guess. Somebody probably reached out and said, hey, Wink, keep us in mind. But no negotiation. Just keep us in mind. We have we might have interest, whatever you want to say. But I promise you, when noon hit, that's the first call. See, he was their priority. Now we know for sure. You think Baltimore wanted to lose him? See, Baltimore trades for Max Crosby.
Right.
And they want to win the Super Bowl. You think they want to lose their player, but the cost got so high when you have to manage a team. The Raiders had $95 million of cap.
Right.
Salary cap, more than anybody.
Yeah.
So they could overpay. But I look at it and say, did they overpay? If you compare it to Humphrey, that's the agent's perspective. But if I'm in the team, I'm paying $3 million more than the other guards.
So walk me through this. So if you're getting that deal for Linderbaum and you're the agent, the way to negotiate this is, what do you think he came in asking for? Is it one of those things where you throw out a bigger number and then you meet in the middle? Or do you just get down the brass tacks and say, listen, in order for him to leave, it's going to have to be this number? How would you handle it?
I'm not throwing out the first number. If you want my client and you tell me he's important, what is your number?
So you never would throw out the first number?
Well, it depends. It depends. In this case, I'm not throwing it out because, see, my guess is Eric DaCosta said, look, I need to keep you for Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Now we got Max Crosby. We're in it to win it. You don't give up 2 1s for a 29-year-old player unless you think you're going to win the Super Bowl. You're not doing it, but you're already in the playoffs.
No, they're in there. They're operating in their window where they feel like we have Derrick Henry, we have Lamar Jackson. This is the window to win now, even though they have a brand new head coach in Jesse Minter.
Well, they also have pressure. You have to remember something. Now the GM is on an island by himself. Harbaugh, the Hall of Fame future, his coach is gone on his watch. Now he's wearing the watch.
So what did you think of that deal? Did you think that he should command 2 first-round picks? How do you think that all played out? What did to me, I think the Raiders did a tremendous job getting 2 1s. Plus, we thought that one could be late in the first round. This is the 14th overall pick, plus next year's first rounder. I think it's an A-plus trade. That's my opinion. What was your take on the trade for the Raiders?
I think I agree with you. It's an A-plus trade. The Raiders won in the trade. Now, the Ravens can win in the trade. They can. But for them to win in the trade or to make it look good, they must at least get to the Super Bowl. See, anything less than that is considered a failure. They haven't traded a first-round pick in, 20 or 30 years?
Yeah.
They don't do that. That's not their philosophy under Ozzie Newsome. And DeCosta was mentored by him. So he changed. Why did he switch? Why did he go all in and give up 2 ones?
Desperate. That's why you're saying right now, and it makes perfect sense. You read the tea leaves. You get rid of a Hall of Famer in John Harbaugh, the pressure's on.
That pressure, it's his team now. He's the GM. See, Ozzie Newsome was the GM and Harbaugh was the head coach. Ozzie Newsome is now a consultant. Why? He'll be a consultant for life because Mr. Biscotti is very loyal. He wants to keep him, but Eric is now the GM.
Yeah.
But if you're the GM and you have a future Hall of Fame coach, who's really the king?
Yeah, I mean,
it's Harbaugh. Now who's the king?
Now
it's Eric DeCosta.
Now the praise, the pressure, it's all going to be on that one guy. Now, what else did you think about the Raiders' moves? Because 8 players, I mean, this is going to be a whole new makeshift team. Obviously, 3 years for Linderbaum, 3 years for Nakobe Dean, 3 years for Quay Walker. They even got a new kicker in Matt Gay,
sure.
Jalen Naylor, a bunch of different moves there. What other move did Spytek make yesterday that you really liked?
I love the 2 linebackers. I think, the defensive end, Pay.
Right, Kwity Paye.
Let's see how good he is. Meaning this, like he could be rejuvenated. I mean, he was good.
Yeah.
He's not Max Crosby, but look, Crosby's 29, and he plays really hard. I believe his best years are behind him. He's got 4 years left on his contract, right? So if I'm the Ravens, if I'm the agents, I want a new deal now. Because they're pod committed. They have to have good news. Anyway, that's a different story. I would leverage them.
But you love the linebacker moves.
I do.
They're shifting to a 3-4 defense. You need some athletic linebackers. Those are 2 guys, though, who also played at Georgia together.
As is Stokes.
Right.
So, look, Howie Roseman was smart. For a while, he drafted a lot of players from Southeastern Conference. Alabama and then Georgia. Right? Well, it's the best conference. Now, the Big Ten might be the best conference. But having said that, when players know each other, you need chemistry. Now, this goes back to Linderbaum. Think about this. What unit on the field has to be cohesive, like brothers? The offensive line.
Offensive line. 100%.
That starts with he starts it.
And last year, they weren't on the same page.
No.
Under Pete Carroll's son, he was running the O-line. They didn't even know the blocking schemes, which person had which defender. I mean, the whole thing was out of sync. And when you really think about the operation of an offensive line, who's the brains? It's the center.
It is.
It's like the catcher on the baseball diamond. You're the guy who's conducting everything. A lot of, for the Ravens, it's Kyle Hamilton.
There you go, yes.
For the 49ers, it's Fred Warner on the defense. For the offensive line, it's the center, and they conduct the whole thing. And it's a massive move, especially if you're the agent of Fernando Mendoza or Ashton Genty,
right? How
are you reacting today?
You've got to be very happy. And look, I think this is a credit to Spytek executed something that's, look, I'm not going to take credit for it. And this is one reason that Jason Light was on the phone. I need insight from people that know more than me. And he used to be in New England. He was there when Tom Brady was drafted. He didn't draft him, but he was part of the team. He signed Tom Brady to get over the hump to win a Super Bowl. And he knows from Tom Brady firsthand that Tom Brady values the relationship between the quarterback and the center. Well, wouldn't you take it from a guy that's the GOAT? And so the plan, see, this is what I like about what the Raiders are doing. Mark Davis is committed to winning. And he's allowing Tom Brady as an owner to have say because Tom Brady's got 6 rings. This is pretty amazing.
And I think he's always been committed to winning. The Davis family has always wanted to win, and there's a commitment to excellence. The problem is cohesiveness and having a vision. To me, that's where everything has changed in this offseason is we finally have a vision that's unified.
Yes.
And it's coming together as one. Kubiak, Spytek, it all makes sense. Last year, the moves didn't fully make a lot of sense. When you're in the AFC West, you're competing. Is Geno Smith really taking you to a Super Bowl? No.
Well,
so it's like now they lucked out on the first overall pick.
So let's go back.
Setting the timeline.
Mike, let's go back though. Last year, who did the Raiders want as a coach? They wanted Ben Johnson.
Right.
Ben Johnson didn't want to interview. He said no thanks because you can't win here in Oakland or Las Vegas. He didn't want to be a Raider. He said no thanks. I think that was a wake-up call for Tom Brady because he's not accustomed to that. This is a guy that was a winner in high school. He was a winner at Michigan. Spytek was there with him at Michigan. They know each other, right? What a coincidence that they're at Tampa, too, and Light's there. There's a connection. See, having a bond does matter. There's things that people don't think about. Having that relationship and level of trust matters. So now what they do is they decide, okay, we failed last year, and then they hired Pete Carroll. Why? Well, he's an experienced coach. And then they hired Chip Kelly. Then they drafted the running back. So
there's no magic potion. That's the thing, is you can't turn around things just be in one season because you hire the right coach. Everything has to work together.
It has to gel.
And that's why I think Ben Johnson, sure, I think it was a lot of that, but it was also because Caleb Williams is in Chicago,
That's
right. And having the young quarterback with a rookie deal where you can actually build, that means something. That's why the Raiders are having the greatest offseason of all time, because you're getting Mendoza. You're resetting the timeline, and now they're doing the right thing. They're not doing what Joe Burrow in Cincinnati did when they drafted him and he had zero support from an O-line. They're not doing what, the Texans, did, not investing in the O-line with C.J. Stroud. They're giving Mendoza the tools to be successful. It doesn't matter if you have Nico Collins and Joe Mixon and, all these guys. You need an O-line. So this is smart.
No, this is why you're so good at your job. No, it's true, because, see, we don't have to be on a script.
Like, it's great to have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but if you can't block for Joe, now Joe Burrow's got to deal with Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, all these guys. So, to me, let's not overspend on Alec Pierce. Let's get Tyler Linderbaum, and let's start this baby off right. I want them at 14 to draft an O-lineman.
The two ways to take care of your quarterback, young quarterback, I mean, first of all, you have to have a line. You build in the trenches. I believe in that. I think you do too, because you're obviously very smart. I mean, you understand. No, I said this to you, Mike. I said it off the air.
Thank you.
A lot of people, after we did the first segment, they said, "Who is this guy?" And they were like, "He's really smart," because they said he tried to put you in the meat grinder. I said, "What are you talking about?" I watched it, and I was like, "Gosh, he's really good," because you know your subject matter. You're not on a script. A lot of people in your position are on a script. So you really understand it. You speak with passion because you have substance. It's pretty.
I appreciate you.
No, but it's the
that.
truth.
Thank you.
It's the truth.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So it's a really, when you're excited, I'm along with you. Now let's do one thing. Let's not have the fans get carried away because Rome wasn't built in a day. But this is a great stepping stone. They're in a very tough division. Denver Broncos are good. The Chargers are good. I mean, it was proven last year. And Kansas City has been good. I mean, I think Kansas City's regressed. You were in one of the toughest divisions, and they went from they're the first pick. Look, if they have the 10th pick next year, 12th, we know that what New England did last year, anything's possible. But you're going to have a rookie quarterback. Dre Make went to his second year. If you want the quarterback to be successful, you have to have people in the trenches. Now they've gotten one piece. Once you get that one piece, it's easier to get the second piece. Because now people say, wait a minute, they're signing guys, they're paying guys. They understand they have to overpay to some extent to build the brand and the culture.
Yeah.
But now think about this. At the very top, Mark Davis is saying, okay, I've got ownership. Here you go, Tom. And here's Tom saying, John, this is what we need. You do your job. You're the evaluator. I trust you because I know you're from Michigan and Tampa. And then he says, okay, coach, what are you looking for? The coach just won a Super Bowl, the offensive coordinator. With Sam Darnold, with all due respect to Sam Darnold, did they win because of Sam Darnold, or did they win because of their run game and defense?
No, I agree with you.
So he understands, and look at his lineage. His dad was the backup quarterback,
Gary
right?
Kubiak for John Elway.
And his brother is pretty darn good.
Kubiak as well. And they come from the whole Mike Shanahan tree.
There you
what
go.
did Mike Shanahan know how to do? He knew
Run
how
the ball.
to run the ball.
Zone scheme.
And Ashton Genty, he couldn't even get out of the backfield.
Right.
He couldn't even get the handoff, and he already had to start juking people before he gets the ball.
Right.
So now it's going to establish a whole different thing where you're unlocking the running game, you're protecting the quarterback. It's the way they go. And I think what's so great is the Raiders, from being an agent, how many years were you an NFL agent?
Oh, my gosh. From 94 to 2023. Too long.
See,
31 years.
31 years. I'm 34 years old. Okay, so you were doing it a long time. The Raiders forever would get turned on by the sexy things rather than the foundational pieces, right? The Antonio Browns, the Randy Mosses, Christian Wilkins was even something like that, where it was a overpay bad move for the situation. And I think now we're seeing, hey, they're investing in the right things. You can overpay, but if you're overpaying for the right things, it's a good move. And I think it's progress that we didn't overpay for Alec Pierce. Because what is Alec Pierce going to do for a young quarterback right now? Nothing. The difference between Alec Pierce and Jalen Naylor, there's a difference, but you rather invest in the O-line.
So let me say this. It's one thing that I give a lot of credit to Mark Davis at the very top. Here's why. When your father's Al Davis, right? Commitment to excellence. He was a coach and then an owner.
And a general manager.
And he won Super Bowls.
He was a player, too, in his young days.
Everything. And you know what? He took over the team. He never had money. This guy, he took on the NFL, Pete Rozelle, right? So that's why, well, anyway, that's too much information. But here's the thing. The guy is a legend. And just because your father's Al Davis doesn't make you Al Davis Jr. We all have different skill sets. But here's Mark Davis' credit. He wants to win. He's a great guy. He's great for the city. And he's showing it. He is empowering people to say, okay, we finally have some cohesiveness. Okay, Tom, what do you think? Because I'm going to defer to you. And then Tom has Spytek. And then here's Spytek to Kubiak. And then who has to do all these deals? It's Tom Delaney. He's been there for 27 years. Tom Delaney was there, and he handled everything from Mr. Davis, Al Davis. So now they have a team finally. This is their CC, right? This is their executive team. Yes. Yeah. So now they're saying, okay, how do we do this? So one player at a time. Yeah. They signed 8, and they got 2 comp picks. You can pick up a good guard in the 4th round and in the 5th round. You can.
Yeah, they could go for the guard from Penn State. He's a great player. Maybe at 14, that could work well. There's a lot of things they can do. Plus, Jackson Powers-Johnson, a guy who was a stud center at Oregon. He didn't really transition to the NFL grade. Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, they had different opinions on where he should be on the O-line. Some people thought he should be a center. Some people thought he should be a guard. Jordan Meredith was the center last year, which really wasn't up to snuff for NFL standards. Right. So now JPJ gets an opportunity to actually transition to the right or left guard and play some meaningful football. And now you're actually making the whole O-line better because you got Colton Miller, you got JPJ, now you got Linderbaum, you draft one more guy. Right. Boom. It's looking like a pretty good O-line.
And who becomes his mentor aside from the offensive line coach? Linderbaum.
And Dennison is the O-line coach,
right? So
who's a guy who's been doing this for years.
And then Linderbaum's the coach on the field.
Right.
Right? He has the relationship with the quarter. He has to guide the quarterback, and he can guide Jackson Powers.
And he's only 26. That's the crazy thing. This is a guy who's already top tier of the league, 26. He's got another 2-3 contracts in him potentially.
I don't know what happened, but think about this. Do you think they wanted to lose him? You think?
No.
But so maybe they said, listen, I bet you it came down to this. This has happened with me before. It happened with Tennessee and Runyon. Same thing. They knew they could keep him for less. Kid doesn't want to leave. He's an Iowa guy. He's not fancy. He doesn't want to come to Vegas. But the money discrepancy became big enough that he had to do the deal. So maybe they said, well, we can't pay you more than 22. But then no state taxes. At 27 is equivalent to 30. It's generational money. Now, that's not about you. Okay, it's his second contract. It's not his third.
And they're letting him use his superpowers. He's going to get to play in this, zone blocking scheme where he can do a lot of stuff and really, be the face of a revitalized organization. I want to know some stories from the past, like on when you were in the thick of it as an NFL agent.
I still am, but not the same level.
I know.
Not
you're on the phone with Stephen Jones and Jason Light and all these great guys. But you're connected, dude. We all know that. But this is what I really want to know. When you were in the thick of it as an NFL agent, representing all these guys. At one point, everybody at home, just go look up Ben Dogra in terms of the client list he had. If there was a first-round pick, it was pretty much him. This guy had every single, the list goes on and on. I just want to know, when you were in the thick of it as an NFL agent, what was your phone like on that day? How many calls do you think would you estimate you were even making throughout free agents?
I'm going to show you.
Because I need to know. This is
here. I'm going to do this. So here's one phone. Here's 2 phones. This is my active phone.
How many phones did you have? You would say
4.
4.
Yeah, I still do. I don't know where the other one is. Oh, it's right here.
See, there you go. Look at all the phones.
But here's the deal.
Show that to the camera.
Well, so here's.
Boom.
Here's 3, and here's the one. But here's the only 2 are active. So this is with Verizon, and this is with AT&T if you have bad service. These are kind of 2 dead phones.
Okay.
But they have a lot of information on them that I go back. So here's what I would do. And I have 2 chargers and a Mophie. Right, because I'm paranoid.
The Mophie is
I'm paranoid.
On the run.
Yeah.
But explain what you would do.
So here's what I would do. I can tell it now. When I had the clients, I was also working on deals for my business partners. See, we decided that we were a team. And so even though I might not represent Tony Romo per se, but if I had a better relationship with the decision makers, the people that sign the checks, I can take the lead in that negotiation. We're going to do what's right for the agency, which in turn is right for the player. Right? We have to get the best deal.
Right. At CAA, you were the head of football.
I was a co-head.
Right. But co-head working together. And like you said, you might have a better relationship with Jerry Jones. So you're going to handle the negotiation even though your co-head had that client.
I'll give you a story. This is a fact. So I did the deal for Tony Romo, almost from start to finish, his last deal. And I had a younger agent sign off on it, close it off. And
so you did the framework and
I did
everything,
more than
but
the framework.
Your signature was
not on there.
Right.
Because it helps out younger guys.
Now, does Tony Romo know that or no?
He does now. I hope he does.
I would think that you would have to know that and being involved, but he just is banking on CAA to handle it.
He wants the best possible deal. So I would work on a lot of deals, and what I would do is I would facilitate information to decision makers on players that weren't mine. That's why I have 4 phones. See, when you give them information that's not your player, they like you. They want access. So, for example, why would Jason pick up randomly when there's a second day of free agency? Because he probably knows if I'm calling it's important. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to pick up, but...
So you're saying GMs use agents in which way? You're saying because they might say, hey, Ben, can you give me a little insight on what you think Jalen Naylor is looking for market-wise?
With me, they would, but with other agents, they'll call the Jalen Naylor's agent and say, hey, who are you hearing from? What do you think your market is? See, they're trying to gauge the market on Naylor.
But why would an agent reveal that?
Because the agent's egos are big. See, when you have 1,500 agents and 1,800 players, why are you an agent? See, only 20 agents represent 80% of the players or 90%. What are the other 1,400 agents doing? See, what they're saying is I'm a sports agent when they have a different practice. Why? Because they want to sound cool at the local bar to get a date.
They're right. They're an injury attorney or something, and then they represent a player here or there.
Maybe in the practice squad in the AFL because it's cool and sexy.
But give me an example? Because you are cool and sexy. But what I want to say is,
thank you.
You were a legit agent, so it's a different thing than a guy just doing this for ego. So I want to know how would a GM in the past use Ben Dogra? Give me an example of what the exchange would be, where you would be giving information in return. I want to know what that was like.
I have to be really careful here because
give me a little something.
So
just
basically,
what would be something a GM would ask you for?
GM would ask me, what am I hearing on another player that's not mine? Because they knew I might know something, and if I didn't know something,
meaning let's just take this baby steps because I want to understand this. So let's just say they want to know something about.
Maybe I should just show you.
I mean, I would love to see an example, but
I'll give you an example. But you can't put it on the air, but it would still be good.
No, this is for the air.
Well, but look at my phone. Look at the text exchanges, and just scroll up and see some of the names. I'll let you see the names. Yeah. And this is. I have no clients. Now, can you imagine what it is when I'm managing 100 clients? I'm the co-head. Just look at some of the names.
There's some big names.
Oh, there are.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So why am I giving big names? Now, I could, when we're off the air, don't say the names. Don't say the names.
There's some
names. Why are some of those names there, sir? What am I offering them? So anyway.
That's what I want to know. So break down the situation for me because I want to know what would a general manager ask you for when it comes to a player that's not your player. They literally are basically saying to you, I'm interested in XYZ. You don't have XYZ, but can you give me some information on the state of mind that his agent might be in?
Yes.
And give me some insight on what you think his agent would be doing in this situation.
Or what do you think the player's worth? Or what are your player getting? See, there's no definitive answer, but I was known as the guy. I was known as the guy that was 28 steps ahead of people.
That's what Jason Light said.
That's why I said it.
I know. I mean, Jason Light said it, but he said you were the smartest when it came to that. So you think what you could do better than most agents is, because to me, a good agent can do a few things. One, they're connected.
True.
Number two, they're honest with not only their client, but the GMs they're working with so that they can facilitate future deals and contracts. But then they also have a good understanding of the market. And because it's all monopoly money in a way, because what is value? What is overpaying? What is underpaying? It's hard to establish those things. So when the market gets reshifted for a guy like Tyler Linderbaum, a lot of it is because his agent had the gumption to push for it, and it resets the market. But who knows what the market is until that deal happens?
The market is always set by the team. It's by the leverage. In this case, the leverage belonged to the agent because the Raiders said we have to have him.
Right. But what I'm saying is Baltimore may have not envisioned.
They didn't.
That the leverage was, there was that much leverage. They probably thought, hey, you know what? The market's never going to get to this for him.
Well, how could you
But they couldn't anticipate that. So if they were dealing with you, could you have signaled to them that, hey, just going to let you guys know this. What I'm getting from Las Vegas is the fact that they are a little desperate and they are willing to overpay.
Yes.
So I would say if you guys want to be in the business of Tyler Linderbaum, this is what you got to do.
You should be the agent. See, the difference is you got it exactly. So what happens is, well, how are they going to believe you? See, most agents...
Right, how did they believe
Because
that?
it's called credibility, sir. So you have to build it over a period of time. It's not done in one day.
Right, because if you're BSing for the past 6 months about that, they're not going to believe it.
I could give you agents a BS all the time, and the teams know it. See, there's certain agents that have been around a long time. They're called pathological liars. They know that they don't trust them, but they trusted me. Why? See, if I tell them the truth 99 times and I lie once and I get caught, what happens at 99 times? They're not going to believe me anymore. So I was very honest. Now, people say, well, how can you be so honest as an agent? Well, it's called non-disclosure, sir. I don't lie. I just don't have to disclose the information. See, I don't have to tell the truth, but I can't lie. There's a difference. So my point is, I limit and I control the information. I do. So if you ask me a question, I can answer it for you the way I want to. See, sometimes you're hearing what you want to hear as opposed to what I'm really saying.
When we see a push notification come up on our phone and it's like, hey, Jalen Naylor signs a 3-year, $35 million deal, and we get a push notification from Adam Schefter, is that because the agent texted Adam Schefter the details of that? Correct, right?
Generally speaking.
Like, how would you do it? When you got a deal done, would you then give the news to a specific reporter?
Maybe, but I would defer to the team a lot of times and say, what do you guys want to do? See, I never did a deal and then I want to embarrass the guy. That doesn't help me. I'm an institutional client. I have to do business over and over again with these guys. I'm not transactional. So the problem with a lot of agents is they're transactional. They think by doing one deal, they're going to recruit off of it. It's for recruiting purposes. It doesn't work that way. These guys will keep score against you. They'll remember when you embarrass them. You can't get a deal like that and then publicly humiliate the GM. He'll remember that. They're human beings. You can do it, but the only way you can do it is if you pay him back over and over and over again. See, if I had the best players and the Pro Bowl players and 54 first-round picks, they had to do business with me whether they liked me or not.
54 first-round picks. Can you take me back to a free agency day? What's a free agency day that sticks in your mind? Like, what was the biggest deal you ever had on free agency? Do you remember?
There's a lot. I mean, when I say it's a lot, I can't, in this short period. I will tell you the year I remember more than anything.
Yeah, tell me.
It was brutal.
What year?
It was the lockout, when we came out of the lockout in 2010. So my business partner and I at CA, Tom Condon, we had 34 unrestricted free agents. 34. It was like we didn't know how to manage it. See, when the lockout ended, they didn't give us any time, meaning the union, the league. They said, when the lockout ends, when we tell you go, you go. Well, how are you going to go? I mean, we had to deal with players that might be doing marijuana, right? We had to prepare for something that we didn't know when it's going to end. And I remember we said, okay, we have no idea how this is. It's a Wild Wild West. We said, this is what we're going to do. For the first time, we are going, whoever the teams call and ask for, that's the guy who has to do the deal. We thought it's easy. There's 34 guys. Out of the 34, 26 teams called me.
Wow.
And 8 called Condon because they don't want to deal with him. So I guess I was the easier guy to deal with. Or maybe I was the guy that was softer, or maybe I was just, I don't know. But
so the back and forth.
I got annihilated. So that is the year that Nnamdi Asomugha ended up
going to the Eagles.
Yes. Remember, they already signed Rodgers Cromartie.
Paid him for a lot.
Well, there's a big story behind that, sir. There were 3 teams in it. The Cowboys, the Jets, and the Eagles. So why did the Eagles get him when they already had 2 corners? I want you to think about this. They had signed Rodgers Cromartie and Asante Samuel. They didn't need him. He was the number 1 free agent.
Well, let's paint the picture of who Nnamdi Asomugha was. I mean, this was a guy, he would literally get targeted maybe once or twice a game. He was so efficient in Oakland with
Yes.
the Raiders that, I mean, quarterbacks would just not throw towards him, and he would get zero action during the game because he was a true lockdown
Yes.
corner. I mean, high level. And when he was coming out, he was considered the prize of free agency.
Yes.
But nobody had nobody's bingo card said Asamoah and Eagles getting in bed together.
Well, maybe I created that, sir.
How did you do it?
Well, I did it with Howie Roseman. See, you have to save that for the third show when I come back, because this is a 30-minute show. So let me just give you context.
Yes.
Out of the lockout, I had a different target. That target was the Houston Texans, and Rick Smith was the GM. That's where I wanted to go. But he wasn't sure that he could get him because Nnamdi was the all-pro. See, Nnamdi and Darrelle Revis were the two guys that were considered the top guys at the position. Revis was already on the Jets. Rick Smith went out of turn, and I cannot remember, he signed a corner early because he didn't think he could get Nnamdi. I said, Rick, why did you do it? He said, Ben, I have to get a corner, and this guy's deal was good. I think it was $10 million. And I said, you could have gotten Nnamdi for, 13, 14. He said, I thought it was going to be 16. I said, you never asked me. He said, well, we're in the lockout. I said, oh my gosh. So then I want to give you context. So who was the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys? I'll give it to you. It was Rob Ryan.
Was it? Okay.
Where was he the defensive coordinator before that? The Oakland Raiders. He had gone over there, so he knew Nnamdi. Now, who was his brother? Rex Ryan.
Right.
Got it? We had two brothers fighting over him, and I got Philadelphia here who's already signed two corners. Well, I have a corner named Terrence Newman on the Cowboys. If they sign him, who are they cutting? Terrence Newman. That's not good for me.
And so that's...
Well, that's one factor. The other factor is, here's the Jets. You think the Jets want to pay Nnamdi more than Revis?
Right.
No, you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So the Jets got eliminated.
They already had a high-priced corner in Revis.
But they wanted the second one because the brothers are battling each other. And they're not telling me. And remember,
Terrence Newman was pretty good.
he was good, but he was older.
Yeah.
He was older when he came out of college, and he was making $9 million a year. So if you sign Nnamdi, you have to cut Terrence Newman. You're not going to keep both. So that's a double whammy. But that's not what bothered me. What bothered me is I had two brothers that were able to get to Nnamdi.
But let me just clarify something here. And, we have to start wrapping up, but I want to clarify something here.
That's why I said part
Are you
3.
saying that it wouldn't behoove you as the agent, because you're also representing Terrence, you're purposefully not trying to get Nnamdi Asamoah to go to Dallas?
No.
Because they might cut your other client?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that that's a negative for me.
Right.
But I will put a player wherever he is because I can place Terrence Newman on another team.
Okay, I gotcha.
What I'm saying is that the double whammy is, in a perfect world, I'd rather not do that.
Right.
Right? But in a perfect world, I'm going to do what's right for the client. In this case, here was the fundamental problem. Both the Cowboys and the Jets were offering me less money than what the Eagles paid.
And did you plant that idea in the Eagles' head? Hey, take a look at Nnamdi
Yes.
Asamoah, because they already had their corner situation locked down.
It's a story for Howie Roseman, who's the best GM in the league. I called him at midnight, knowing that I was getting screwed by two brothers behind the scenes that could get to my client directly. And Nnamdi's telling me I want to play for the Cowboys. The Jets got eliminated. So I called him and said, hey, would you like Nnamdi? He said, I'd love Nnamdi, but we can't afford him. I said, how do you know? I said, how do you know you can't afford him? He said, well, we just signed two corners. It's going to be too expensive. I said, what do you mean too expensive? So basically, I gave him the parameters. He said, I can't pay more than 10 in year one. Or, this is and then I can't pay more than 10 in year two. I said, can you pay him 12 a year? Because Nnamdi had told me that if I got $2 million more than the Cowboys, he would go to Philly. Otherwise, if it's less than $2 million, I can't go. So I got the $2 million more. The Cowboys offered me 10. They offered me 12. But they needed a structure. They were out of cash. So he went to the owner through Joe Banner, and he went to the owner.
Jeffrey Lurie, and they worked it out. Now, how much did you play upon the fact, hey, Howie, hey, Joe, the other team in consideration here is the Dallas Cowboys.
Well,
so you're both in the NFC East. If he doesn't go to you, he's going to be going to Dallas.
Let me ask
do you play upon that?
Let me ask you, sir, who do I work for?
You work for the player.
That's exactly right.
But I'm assuming you would give that information. Like, typically you might not. But you might say, hey, Howie, I just want to give you bro to bro.
Let me say something.
I'm just going to let you know the Jets are out. If he doesn't go to you, he's going to Dallas.
Yeah, well, maybe I did say that. I did say. Let me say this. But hold on. But just so you know, I told Jerry and Stephen Jones I said it too, after the fact, years later. I told them what happened. They still couldn't figure out how they didn't get him. See, if you try to backdoor me because the defensive coordinator knows Nnamdi, has a cell because he was his, and Nnamdi's a very loyal guy. then I have to backdoor you, sir. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Listen, there's so much we can get into. Every time you're here, I feel like I can go 12 hours of content with
Let's
this
do it.
guy.
I like this guy.
54 first rounders. This guy was, if you were an NFL player, this is the guy you wanted to have as your agent. And now he's got so much great stuff in the works. We got to have you come back and just talk about all the other fun things you got going on.
Oh, my God.
You're doing a lot here. You're out and about. You're at UFC. You're doing all
Yeah,
the
like
good
the UFC.
stuff.
A docuseries is going on my career. I was at the Combine. I'm going to go to the owners' meeting for my docuseries, 4-part series.
I can't wait to watch this
it's
stuff.
gonna be-
Am I going to be in it? Can I get interviewed?
Yeah, I think I can do that. I could do it right now if you want.
I want to be.
Let's
they
do
better
it.
Clip something
Hold on.
from this
Hold on.
and be in the
Let me say this. So I do need media people. That's one of the segments. Adam Schefter already did it. Jay Glazer's going to do it.
You don't need me. You got the
I do
best
need
guy.
you. No,
you
no,
got
no.
the top of the
No,
top.
I have 2 national guys, and then I'm going to have 3 or 4 local guys.
Okay, I love Glazer.
Let's do
and
it.
Schefter.
They're great.
They're amazing. All right,
great.
I'm going to do it for you. I always love when you come in here and
Yeah.
chat with us. You're always, on the pulse. This guy was literally on the phone with the GM of the Tampa Bay Bucks before he came and sat down with us. I love the
can I-
Namdi Asamoah story.
It's a great story.
Great story. One
80%.
day I'm going to have you come in here and we're just going to do stories.
Well,
I'm not going to even open my mouth.
Well, we need 6 hours for that.
I know.
Okay, but I will say one
Last
last thing.
thing.
Last thing. The last thing is, why did you blow me off for happy hour? We were going to happy hour.
Listen.
But it all worked out because I got a root canal.
Yeah, you had to be. You look good for having.
No,
a
I
root
was just
canal.
showing you my tooth. So I have a root canal, and it's hurting. I mean, I took 3 Advils just now before I got on there. Oh, it's bad. It's a molar. So, when they say you're going to feel pressure, that's a nice way of saying we're getting the pliers out.
Wow.
Anyway, so it was kind of a blessing that you canceled and you weren't feeling well.
Yeah.
Because if I'd gone out with you, we might have been out till 2.
We can't get once we start, we can't.
Let's
stop.
go.
That's how it works.
Let's
it's
go.
the one,
Then
the only.
You get a lot of stories.
I have so many, and now because of you, I have even more. The one, the only, Ben Dogra. Thank you so much for joining us here
Thank
once
you.
again.
Anytime. You're the best.
Can't wait to have you back.
No,
guys, this is the guy, Ben Dogra. Keep an eye out
He's
for
the
that
guy.
docu-series. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
He's the man. Thank you.